Hello everyone, Sableye here, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be ranking the new Pokemon revealed in Scarlet and Violet based on their design and my personal opinion on their competitive viability. Now keep in mind guys, this is very early. We don't know everything returning. We only have so much information, so this is all going to be entirely speculation. Opinions are allowed to be different. This is just some early thoughts that I figured I'd put out there. Now, another thing I want to disclaimer here, we will not be talking about leaks in this video or in the comment section. No leaks, no nothing. Only thing that we're going to be talking about is everything that's already public on the Scarlet and Violet website. So, if you don't have that link or you don't know where it is, I'll leave it in the description down below for you. And other than that, I say we get going. So, I think it makes sense we start with the starters. Sprigatito. So, for Sprigatito, personally, the starter of choice for me, unless for some whatever reason we get any sort of final evolution starters revealed to us at this point. But Sprigatito, pretty hard to rank competitively because you know it's going to have two stages. It's going to be a full evolution stage, right? So you know there's going to be two Pokemon after this, so it's very hard to rank Sprigatito competitively. Competitive wise, I'm just going to give it a B. I'm going to give all the starters a B just because we don't know where they're going to be. Right, we have no clue. All these starters are going to go in B for right now, but we're going to start with Sprigatito. Design-wise, I think Sprigatito's an A. Easily. I absolutely love the design of this little cat. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a dog person, but for whatever reason, maybe it's biased towards the grass-type starters because I generally tend to pick them. But Sprigatito right here, definitely, in my opinion, one of the better starters in the region, so definitely giving it an A. Alright, to Fuecoco now. And Fuecoco, I'm going to be honest guys, I originally did not like Fuecoco at all. Did not like it. My friend started liking it, my friend started posting a bunch of fan arts and a bunch of stuff, and honestly the design has grown on me, and I kind of have a soft spot. I still don't think it's Sprigatito level, so I'm going to give it an A- sort of thing on design, because I do think it's actually kind of cute now that I look back at it and I've seen enough fan art of it, right? But yeah, I'm going to give Fuecoco here a nice little A- in design, and like I said, we can't judge the competitive viability, so I'm just going to give it a B for now, just a nice neutral ground. Because starters, especially in restricted, like in regular like regional dex formats, tend to see usage, right? So B is probably the safe ground there. It probably drops, or maybe it'll be absolutely busted, but it's tough to say. It's literally impossible to tell. We don't even know what their hidden abilities are yet, so it's very difficult at this moment. Moving on to Quaxley. In my opinion, I'm going to catch so much hate for this next statement. I really do not like the design of Quaxley whatsoever. Like, it's not bad. I don't hate it, but it's not something I look at and going, yeah, that's a cool Pokemon. I really want to catch that. To me, it's not bad. Don't get me wrong. If you're a Quaxley lover, to each their own. But for me, it's not a Pokemon for me, guys. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna give Quaxley a nice little C, maybe a C+ in design, because I feel bad actually just like bullying this poor little duck. But I'm gonna give it a nice little C. Competitively, once again, literally impossible to tell. So we're just gonna throw a B out here for the time being for competitiveness. But other than that, guys, that wraps up the starters. But like honestly, I'm gonna catch so much hate for the Quaxley comments. Koraidon and Miraidon. Now, I'm gonna kind of do these two together because we really don't know much, right? We only know that they're the legendaries of the region. Really tough to say if you want to say it's a competitively viable or not. Tough to know if we're gonna see these. We probably won't see these until we get another restricted format, looking like 2024, 2025. So really not going to be tough to rank them competitively. Do we even have their steel types? I feel like we don't have their typings. Yeah, we don't actually have their typings. So not having their typings makes this really difficult to know how they're going to rack up against all the other restricteds that we already have. I'm going to go ahead and give them a B because once again, I think it's similar to the starters. We actually don't know that much about them. We don't know enough to actually give them any sort of ranking. I'm going to give them a B. Going to be neutral. Going to depend on too much stuff, right? Like, they look cool. Design-wise, I think they're probably a B. I think I like Koraidon a little bit better. But I do think design-wise, overall, they're a B. Competitively, once again, I gotta give them a B. I can't give them anything else. We don't know enough about them, right? We have no typings, no abilities, no stat, no nothing, right? So as early on as we are, don't know how they're gonna shape up against the other restricteds. I'm inclined to give them Bs in the competitive meta because we just don't know. And now I know it seems weird, right? We keep saying we don't know for competitiveness, but this is where we start leaning to see things like, oh my goodness, we're actually going to get a ranking on competitive here. Cue the Armorage. Cue the Armorage. Now, personally, design-wise, we're going to get that out of the way right now. I am not a huge fan of Armorage. I think Armorage on its own is probably a C. I don't think it's terrible, so I'm going to give it a C. I'm not going to be mean about it, but I'm going to give it a C. Gonna give it a C. It's going to be a Fire Psychic type, guys. And it's interesting, right? I'm always happy to see Flash Fire Pokemon, right? Flash Fire is a very good ability. It's very nice when you have grass types on the field. You want to switch in, eat the fire type attack. I think because of Flash Fire and a very offensive typing in like Fire and Psychic as well, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I don't think there's anything crazy. Let's see what Armor Cannon does. Fire special move in which Armorage moves both his Paldian on his hand and puts his arm together, allowing it to shoot an enemy without brazing. This is one of the most powerful moves that Armorage can learn, but it lowers Armorage's defense. Okay, so it looks like special fire close combat, so to speak. So, in my opinion, it's one of those ones where competitively, I think it's probably going to be something like a Glass Cannon. With Flash Fire, that does give it a nice little thing where, hey, you can't hit me, and you boost my fire type attack. So I'm going to give it a B plus, because I don't think Flash Fire really does amazingly on an already fire type Pokemon. Now, it does boost stab to crazy, ridiculous boosts, especially if you wanted to give this thing like a Terrasilize into fire type or something along those lines, right? But I just think it's too, it could work. Hey, you know what? I'm going to I changed my mind. A minus. I changed my mind. We're going A minus for Armarouge right now. I think it'll be around. Guys, keep in mind, this is already only on what we know, right? I don't know all the Pokemon returning. We don't even know fully how terrestrialization works yet, right? So it's really one of those ones that it's all speculation. But we're going to go over to Cyrus now. I cannot say this thing's name, guys, and that saddens me. I think it's like it's Ceruledge, right? Is it Ceruledge? I think it's Ceruledge, but either way, it saddens me because I'm a ghost type lover. This thing looks like an absolute beast. It is S tier. I do not care what anybody says. It is an S tier design, and I am here for it. Okay, I am 100% here for it. Now, it also gets Flash Fire, which I think is really, really cool. Now, obviously, we talked about Flash Fire on the Armarouge, but once again, the Bitter Blade, this is almost more of a physical Giga Drain sort of thing, it looks like. Not sure how much damage it's going to really be dealing, but I think it's a little less likely to be good competitively. Now, Fire Ghost is, I think, a pretty, once again, an offensive typing. I just don't, it's tough to say without the stats, right? But given on what we see here, and given the fact that I think they're going to be pretty much Glass Cannons, I'm not sure if that HP recovery from what we know of is really going to help it out. I think Armarouge is actually going to be a little bit better. I think Ceruledge, I'm going to give it a B minus just because we don't know stats yet. Hey, it could be busted. It could be base 190 attack stat, right? And then all of a sudden it's busted. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. But for right now, it's getting a B minus. I just don't think it looks like a Glass Cannon. I don't think it's going to be a bulky type of Pokemon, and its move or its signature move kind of just healing itself up really doesn't fit for a Glass Cannon. Now, like I said, it might get access to incredible moves for Glass Cannons, and it might be amazing. No one's going to use the signature move. But for right now, I'm going to give it a B minus. The typing is good enough, I think. Fire types are always good, in my opinion, right? Because grass is popular. I know water's popular, but fire, you also break the steels. Fire is never a bad typing to have, I don't think, unless you're going up against like rain or mono water, but you can always fix that too with terrestrialization now, which is cute, which could be cute, cool, cute, whatever. I don't know. I've been saying cool and cute together for like the last week and a half, so we're on Titan now. And Titan, I'm gonna be honest, I kind of hated this thing when it was first revealed. I did hate it when it was first revealed, but looking through some of the abilities and some of the pictures here, it's not a bad designed Pokemon. I'm gonna give it a B in design. I don't hate it. Like, I can actually look at it and be like, okay, I can kind of see like some of the perks of, you know, maybe liking it or not. So I'm not gonna bash the Titan here, but I do think it's probably a B design. I don't think it's amazing. It's no Ceruledge, if you know what I mean. But Thick Fat Slush Rush with an Ice type, really, really cool. Now, I don't know how good ice typing is going to be, right? Everybody's like, oh, we got to buff the ice types. We got to buff the ice types. Now, it's going to depend on really how this works, because obviously thick fat's good. It's going to depend on other fire types. It's going to depend on terrestrialization, because you could technically change the Titan to a steel type, get thick fat, and then your only weakness is really ground and fighting, right? And you get rid of your ice typing. Now, that might not be the way to do it, but if you're looking at it from a defensive standpoint, that could be cool. You could also switch typings, maybe not steel, maybe grass is the way, but I don't think it would be if you're going to switch typings like that. I think steel is probably the better defensive typing if you're going to make a defensive Pokemon out of this. Although you're not really I don't know. It's weird because, like, I want to go steel because steel is one of the best defensive typings in the game, but I also think that it's probably for the best if you don't go steel, because then you're still just weak to fighting. You know, you're not really capitalizing on the, like, changing the weakness of it, you know? But I do think it has potential, right? Thick Fat, Slush Rush, both good abilities. Slush Rush is going to be tough. It depends on what hail setters we see, and maybe if there's a buff to hail some of the stats as well, because it could be very slow. Like, this thing, guys, I'm going to be honest, does not look fast. If I'm wrong and this thing is fast, I don't know. It just shouldn't be fast, in my opinion, okay? Like, Vikavolt. Vikavolt was a Pokemon that needed to be fast. This thing is a Pokemon that needs to be slow, so it wouldn't surprise me if they made it fast, but it really, in my opinion, should not be fast. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. It just even has like a slow name, you know, like Titan. You know, like Titan just feels like you're gonna sit here, you're gonna click Trick Room, you're gonna bring your Titan in with thick fat. It's gonna be tough to take down. Long story short, I'm gonna give this thing an A. I think it has potential. Actually, I'm gonna go A minus. I'm gonna go A minus. I think it has potential. Obviously very early to tell. I'm probably not going to completely trash anything in this video, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. Unless I think it's absolute garbage. But I'm not going to completely trash anything. I think there is enough going on and enough unknowns to actually give them, say, hey, this thing could have potential. But either way, that's the Titan for you. A minus. Cyclist. Now, apparently this thing is super common. It seems to be modeled after the restricteds. I don't really know what's going on here. If anybody has more information, maybe it's on me for not reading the full thing here, but it's really cool, right? Dragon normal could be cool. I feel like it would be legal if you're able to catch it. Now, if you're not able to catch it and you can only get it like one time at the end of the game after your playthrough, I could see it. But I feel like this is going to be a mon that's just super, super common, and it's going to be available throughout the region. Now, once again, going to depend on if it evolves. I would doubt it does. It just doesn't seem like the type of Pokemon that would evolve, because it's to me, this Pokemon evolves if into Miraidon, Koraidon, and I don't know if it's going to. I would highly doubt that it does, especially since it's considered to be a common Pokemon in the region. So, right, Pokemon that lives with humans, you know what I mean? But it looks like it's going to be pretty fast. It's got a really cool ability in, really cool move in Shed Tail. There's competitively, I think it might be a little bit frail. It might just be one of those Pokemon that, you know, just doesn't evolve, doesn't really have the stats to live up to the hype. I'm gonna go ahead and make a kind of a say. I'm gonna say B minus, maybe a C plus, but I'm gonna go B minus. Like I said, I don't want to be rude to anything. Design wise, I think it's kind of cute. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I do think it's kind of cute. I'm gonna give it a B on design. I don't think it's like the most intuitive design or the craziest design here, but I can give it a B. I do think it's kind of cute, and I could see definitely myself being like, oh yeah, Cyclizar is pretty cool. But that's Cyclizar. All right, Farigiraf. This one was probably the most recent one revealed. Also, guys, at the time I am recording this, there is another trailer tomorrow, so unfortunately we won't get those Pokemon revealed on this list, but it'll be close by. Anyways, Farigiraf. I hated it at first. I saw this thing and I'm like, what did they do to Girafarig? And then I looked at it again, because when I first saw the trailer, I couldn't tell that it was almost like a hoodie, you know, on top of the other face. I thought it was like some merged face thing. But after seeing the full-on design, I kind of like it. Like, I think it's really cool. Like, it just kind of like, I like the Pokemon that, you know, kind of just look like pranksters, I guess is a good way to put it, you know? Like, as a Sableye lover with the prankster and that kind of style, like, Farigiraf to me kind of looks like that, right? It looks like the hood's just kind of there. It's just like, hey guys, what's up? What's going on? You know, like, I don't know. Farigiraf to me, I'm gonna give it an A in design. It grew on me a lot. Like I said, I didn't like it at first, but upon farther review, it's kind of got like that whole like if you imagine like if you took Bambi and put a hoodie on it. This is what I feel like Farigiraf is, and I'm kind of down for it. So I'm giving it an A in design. Competitively, I'm giving it an A+. We don't know stats, but I'm telling you right now, normal, psychic, amazing. Armor Tail cannot stops fake out and all priority moves onto your side of the field, or at least that's what the wording implies at the moment. So with that, meaning you can easily get Trick Room. You get Trick Room yourself. You're immune to, you only have one weakness. One weakness is dark. Yeah, I think you only are weak to dark, which is phenomenal. No, you're not weak to fighting. Never mind. You're only weak to dark. I corrected myself. You are only, and bug. Dark and bug. My apologies. But either way, fantastic typing. You can't get prioritized. You get Trick Room. Like, it just seems really, really solid. Right? You don't need to have a Pokemon beside this thing to get the Trick Room up. Now, this alone, throw a Mental Herb on there. Right? To me, that's getting Trick Room up 90% of the time, unless it just somehow dies. But you also have another Pokemon. In order for it to die, I don't know, its stats would have to be either A, bad, or B, you'd have to really kind of just somehow not be pressured by the Pokemon beside it. But that can be fixed with proper team building. I'm saying A+. I think this thing's going to be a dominant threat in the meta. It's going to be part of the reason we need to deal with the Trick Room teams. Because I think Trick Room is what they're really going on, right? Like, I think it really looks solid here. So we're going to go... we went, what did I say, A+ for that thing? I think I said A+ for that thing. Fido, this is one of those ones where I feel if I give it hate, I feel if I give Fido hate, I'm going to get yelled at in the comments. I'm going to give it a B- in design. I don't hate it. I do think it's cute. But, like, it doesn't, to me, it just doesn't, it doesn't hit that next level. You know? It's similar to Cyclist. I think it's cute. It just doesn't hit the next level for me. So I'm giving it a B, B-. Somewhere in there. I'll put one of the two on the screen. I'm not sure which way I'm going to go with it yet. But tough to say competitively. I don't know if this thing's going to get an evolution. Like, I feel like it really should get I feel like it deserves an evolution, you know? To me, this Fido seems like a Lillipup sort of thing, right? So it feels like it's going to get evolutions. Really tough to rank competitively right now. If it does keep own tempo as it evolves, I can say maybe a B. Really too tough to tell, really too early to tell. But I'm going to give it a B for now in competitive. I do think it's going to evolve. That is my thought process here. But other than that, I guess I wonder if you can make sandwiches with the Fido. That would be cool. Like if it just provides bread for you. Like if it bakes the bread, here, have some bread. Anyways, besides the point. I'm gonna butcher this name, guys. I apologize. Is it Graphia? I think it's Graphia. I'm going with Graphia. But honestly, love this thing. I'm going A+ in design. Like I said, guys, you guys can see the pattern in the Pokemon I like here. And this is, to me, just another one of those things that's gonna walk around the region and just do some prankstery things, you know? It just looks like it's here. It's a lemur. It's actually a monkey, but it looks more like a lemur in my opinion. I don't care. It looks amazing. Poison normal is a pretty cool typing as well. This one's a 50-50 for me. I don't know if I even want it to evolve because, like, it's cool the way it is, you know? I don't know how they're gonna make this thing evolve, but either way, even if they do, even if they don't, I think if they don't make it evolve, I think it will be viable because Unburden is kind of cool, right? The way it walks around, you know, and it just kind of looks like it's kind of there. I feel like it has potential to be very disruptive in the meta. So, like, to me, once you have Unburden, if you can be Unburdened, go fast, and be disruptive, I honestly think it has potential here. I'm going to give it a B+, I think, for competitive. Obviously, generally speaking, the Pokemon that don't evolve have a little bit of a tougher time, because this thing doesn't look like they're going to... It just doesn't look like they're going to give it the stats of some other non-evolved Pokemon, you know? It just looks like it's going to have stats similar to Sableye, you know? It just doesn't look like it's going to have completely busted stats as a single stage evolution. Now, it might evolve, and if it does evolve, maybe it gets a little bit more competitively viable. I'm sticking with B+ for right now. I also do love this thing's design. I have severely underestimated how many Pokemon there were. Cloth, I hate this thing. I'm gonna be honest, I know I'm catching hate for you. I know I'm gonna catch hate for this in the comments, but I hate this thing. I absolutely hate this thing. It is a giant crab, and I don't know, it just looks odd to me. Like I said, I'm not gonna hate it. I'm not gonna completely bash it, even though I just spent the last 5 minutes doing so. But like I said, I'm gonna give it a C. I don't want to give it a D as much as I do in personal opinion. I really think it's just garbage. Like it's completely ugly. I don't know. I feel like it has potential to grow on me, so I don't want to hate on it too much yet. But like I am at the moment right now, I am completely hating on Cloth right now. I don't think design-wise it is very good. I'm giving it a C. What I'm intrigued about is its competitive viability, and that's Anger Shell. So Cloth's Anger Shell ability is making its first appearance in the Pokemon series. When Cloth's HP drops to half HP or less, the Pokemon gets angry. This lowers its defense and special defense, but also boosts its attack, special attack, and speed stats. Doesn't say how much. I feel like it's only going to be +1. Yeah, it looks like it's only +1 based on the images down below. But so it's basically kind of a shell smash when you get to less than half HP, which is really, really cool. And you can't be crit, so you can actually probably build it so that you can guarantee that you're going to end up in that below that half HP once you get hit by a certain attack. I think it has potential. Completely going to depend on not on typing, but on the rest of the meta. See what happens. Obviously, a rock type that can be fixed with terrestrialization, so it's interesting there. But you might want to leave it as a rock type, maybe self-mock punch it or something. Get to below half, proc a policy. I don't think policy is going to be amazing, but there's a lot of options for this. You could also run the stat resetting items to make sure you get your defenses back. It's interesting. It could definitely happen. It could definitely be cool. I think it has potential depending on stats. I'm going to give it a B+ for competitive viability here, but design-wise, I just hate this thing. Lechonk is Lechonk. That's all there is to say. I'm going to give it the Lechonk tier in design and the Lechonk tier competitively. In all seriousness, guys, it's Lechonk. To me, it's just kind of there. People are freaking out about it. It's kind of there. Yeah, it's cool. It's a B. I don't care. It's a B. Like, you can't change my mind here. It is just a B. Anyways, Lechonk, B. Cool mod. I think it's gonna evolve. Aromavale and Gluttony, both really good abilities when it does evolve, if it does evolve, which I believe it should, just based on being one of the seemingly like early route Pokemon. I feel like it's one of those ones that is definitely going to evolve. Maybe one evolution similar to like a Snorlax kind of thing. But I think this thing could be an absolute beast under Trick Room. Right? And Aromavale, if I'm correct, is the one that prevents partner Pokemon from getting status. So you can't be like taunted or anything like that. So putting this beside something like Farigiraf could be really cool. All I'm gonna say. But I'm gonna give it a I'm gonna give the evolution or whatever this whole line. I'm gonna give it an A. I think it has a lot of potential depending on stats right now. It's not a Pokemon that looks like it needs to go fast. It looks like it can be built bulky and slow. And like I said, with Farigiraf being a Trick Room mod and seemingly these two seeming to work together. I know you have to run 2 normal types for it, but I don't hate it. I do think it's kind of cool, and I do think it could definitely work. I'm going to give it, what did I say, a B+ or an A-? I don't know which one I said. It's going to be one of those two, whatever I decide to put on the thing. Paldian Wooper. Wooper's cool. I love my boy Wooper. Paldian Wooper, I'll give it an A. I don't hate the design. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't hate the design. Competitive viability, really, really tough to say. If it keeps Poison Ground when it goes to Paldian Quagsire, Poison Ground is cool. You do still get Water Absorb as well, actually, looking at that. So if you get Poison Ground with Water Absorb, that takes away a weakness. What are you weak to at that point? Ground is only weak to Grass, which is neutralized by Poison. You're weak to Water, which is completely counteracted by Water Absorb. What else is Ground weak to off the top of my head here? I can't, off the top of my, Ice, but, okay, Ice is going to be the problem for this thing, right? Might be 1 or 2 more that I'm missing, guys, but I'm trying to do this fast, and I just looked at the time. We're already 20 minutes in. I don't want this video going over half an hour, but, yeah, Paldian Wooper, I'm going to give it a, like I said, I think we got to look at Quagsire when we do this, because this one we know is going to evolve into a Quagsire. If it keeps Poison Ground, it keeps the Water Absorb, I'm going to go ahead and say it's going to be an A. I think it actually has potential. Like, generally speaking, you don't care about Quagsire all that much competitively, unless they're like playing singles and you got the Unaware on it. But In VGC, I do think it has potential now with the Water Absorb, the new typing. I think it could definitely be super, super cool if it keeps all these pieces that Paldian Wooper has. Obviously, stats are important, but can't really include those here. So I think I'm going to go with A for Paldian Wooper / Quagsire. Palmy. Palmy is, I feel like it's the Pikachu of the generation. You know, they always have that electric rodent kind of thing. This is, to me, what the Palmy is. I like Palmy. Personally, I think design-wise, I'm going to give it, I don't think it's up there, but I am going to give it a B+ in design just because I do think it's really it's kind of cute, right? Like, I think it's underrated. Like, look at this thing. I don't know. It's kind of cute. I'll give it cute factor. I will give it cute factor. I know some people are saying it's kind of ugly, but I do think it could be decent. Now, obviously, with what we have, knowing maybe it's the Pikachu, the new Pikachu of the region, the electric rodent. Now, this could go either way. Sometimes the electric rodents are busted, and sometimes the electric rodents are kind of just garbage. You have the plus or minus scenarios, they're not very good at all. But then you have Pachirisu, which doesn't really want to be very good. But then you have something, it did win Worlds because Sajin found a niche for it. So it's really going to depend. I think in this case on what we're seeing with Static and Natural Cure isn't enough. I don't know if there's going to be a hidden ability. I don't think Static and Natural Cure alone are really going to help it. Static is cool, depending on the bulk on this thing. If it evolves or not. Static is kind of cool. I don't think it's super useful. I don't think it's enough to say, yeah, the Palmy, and if Palmy evolves, it's going to be busted. It's tough to say that. I'm going to give Palmy I'm going to give it a B- just because it's an electric rodent. I feel like it's not going to be very good unless it gets something busted, and without information on having it, maybe it having something busted, I'm giving it B-. It has potential. It just completely depends on if it evolves, how it evolves, and complete stats. It's too early to say. Smoliv, this thing surely has to evolve, right? Surely this thing has to evolve, right? Like, if this thing doesn't evolve, it's going to be terrible. I'm sorry. If this thing doesn't evolve, it is going to be terrible. It is grass normal. It looks to be one of the early route Pokemon. Generally speaking, that's the way it seems to me. Nothing crazy going on here. It's literally just an olive. Design-wise, I don't hate it. I know I'm going to catch hate for giving it a B, because I feel like there's a bunch of people out there that are like, yeah, Smoliv. But for me, it's just not there. It just doesn't hit that next tier. It's a B, maybe a B- even. But anyways, like I said, now moving over to an olive Pokemon. Like I said, it surely has to evolve. I think it's too early to rate this thing competitively. I'm gonna say it's probably gonna see similar styles to the Fomantis line. The only thing is Fomantis got the busted ability, and that's why Fomantis is sometimes seen, because Contrary is just broken. Right? And Smoliv, unless this line gets some sort of busted ability or some sort of busted stat, I can't see this evolutionary line actually resulting in anything competitively. I'm going to give it a C for right now. It's definitely going to need something more than just a regular level up with a early bird ability. It's just not going to be good competitively, in my opinion, unless it gets something broken. So for right now, we're giving C. And finally, last but not least, we are rocking Wiglet. And Wiglet's one of those ones that, like, oh, it's a Wiglet. Everybody was hyped on. Guys, I don't like it. I don't like it. Like, I don't get it. What did we need this thing for? Like, what did we need this thing for? I'm gonna give it a C. Y'all are gonna hate me for it, but I'm giving it a C. Like, what did we need this thing for? We don't need this. We do not need this Pokemon, guys. I'm sorry. I know I'm giving it hatred, but, like, design-wise, no. We don't need this eel. We don't need it. We just don't need it. It's a C. I don't care what anybody says. It's a C. Abilities, both very, very strong competitively. Gooey and Rattled both could work. Rattled's a little less used. You don't really see Rattled in competitive play. Doesn't really do too much. But Gooey, on the other hand, is kind of cool. You hit this thing, you get slower. Seems like it could be working. I just don't see this thing having defenses. I don't know if this thing evolves. It's too early to tell. Based on what I know, if it is modeled after Diglett, obviously it's not related to Diglett, but obviously it's modeled off of it. I feel like it might evolve once. Tough to say though. I'm gonna give it a B competitively. I don't think it's amazing. maybe even a B minus, maybe even a C. Honestly, I don't think it's amazing. It's gonna really depend on if it gets any sort of stats. I'm gonna change my answer. I'm gonna give it a C for right now. Even if it evolves, I can't see it being amazing. Like, it looked like, I don't know if this thing's gonna be fast, if it's gonna be slow. It's strict water type. It just does, to me, it just doesn't hit that tier of, yeah, this thing's probably gonna be good and competitive. Like, for Farigiraf, right? Like, I looked at that thing, I'm saying abilities are good, typing is pretty decent. Move pool, if it still gets Trick Room, is going to be decent. Like, you can look at Farigiraf and go, yeah, that's probably going to be good and competitive. This thing I look at and I'm going, I'm just not seeing it. Just not seeing it being good and competitive unless something changes as the evolution happens. I'm giving it a C all around, design and competitive wise. That's just me. Guys, with that, I think that's it. Yeah, that is it. There are more Pokemon coming soon. There is a trailer tomorrow. I'm going to hopefully get this video up today as well, so that me saying there's a trailer tomorrow actually makes sense. But guys, I am super hyped for Scarlet and Violet. Question of the day, which I probably should have mentioned earlier, but what Pokemon are you most excited for to use in Scarlet and Violet, either competitively or just on your playthrough? But with that, guys, I am going to stop rambling right now. If you guys do enjoy these styles of videos, please feel free to leave a like, and if you do want to not miss out on more, also feel free to subscribe. I ran out of English, guys. I'm sorry. We hit the 30-minute mark. My English just went out the window. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in a future video.